Hello, and welcome to CGI Friday. In this week's episode, we're exploring deep space travel.
Whoa, now that's deep.
Yes, definitely. We'll also be rounding up the most interesting examples of space exploration in films and games, and finding out how we can create our own virtual rocket launch.
Sounds exciting. Let's take a look.
Across science fiction in games, films and TV, spaceships are shown to be travelling the endless void using different means of faster-than-light travel. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, it's impossible for an object to travel faster than light itself, but it is interesting to see fiction come up with ideas to travel light years across the galaxy or universe. In the Dune universe, they use the scientific theory called the Boltzmann effect, where space and time is manipulated for instant travel plus communication across the universe. Star Wars helped to create the idea of sending a ship through a dimension at the speed of light using something called hyperdrives. While in Mass Effect, they use a technology called Mass Effect relays, which allows for faster-than-light travel across the Milky Way. Creating your own form of space travel is easy in the editing software After Effects. Using the lens flare effect plus CC starburst, you can create a nebula. Creating the Star Wars effect of faster-than-light travel is simple, using a combination of CC starburst, reducing the size and number of stars, then adding CC lightburst and having the ray length in the negative. This will create an FTL scene. Even when creating these types of scenes, it's a complete unknown what real FTL would look like, or even if it's possible. But the movie Interstellar gives us a peek, based on our current level of knowledge of the universe, into how humans could travel across the stars in spaceships.
Start, 2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff.
In this segment, we'll be giving you an in-depth look at rockets and space travel in the media. We'll be looking at realism along with scientific and historical accuracy, mainly how challenging this can be to achieve with visual effects, which often focus on believability and accuracy. Initially, they achieved this with practical effects, but would eventually start to use CGI. Many movies may avoid scientific accuracy due to them being part of a more fantastical genre. Superheroes, comic books, sci-fi, but what I am going to show you is a simple animation of a rocket launching. It's not got the best textures or anything on par with modern movies, but it does have a custom-made CGI Friday launch pad to go with it. After watching a quick Russian YouTube tutorial, I was able to reference what it was using, a SpaceX Big Falcon rocket now renamed to Starship. I followed the tutorial with subtitles and went from there. I used 3ds Max's line tool to create the main shape of the ship and made sure smoothing tools were turned off to make sure the rocket looked as rigid as possible. Soon after, I then created the wings at the bottom and attached them to the rocket. To create the thrusters, I used 3ds Max's lathe modifier, which alters the number of degrees an object is spun in. Then I placed the thrusters at the bottom of the rocket and used the fire I created earlier to aid with the launching animation. Fire was the very first thing I created, and after finding a tutorial on animated flames, I used 3ds Max's particle generator and noise modifier to make a short fire animation before I tried to add them to the rocket. The sizing and fitting of the fire became complicated, but I was able to continue working on the rocket animation. Overall, rocket launches and space flights are hard to portray in media. Simple animations, prototypes and demos will always play a contributing role in not only spaceflight, but also the future of visual effects.
Astronauts report it feels good. T minus 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
There we go, some great examples of interstellar travel, how close CGI can get to mimicking it using science and technology.
Yeah, for me, I really enjoy trying to animate my own rocket launch, and makes you appreciate the time and the effort that these VFX artists must have put in to create some of the effects.
It was a great use of practical effects and props used in original Star Wars movies as well. Even before computer CGI, we were able to make it spaceships fly through hyperspace and inevitably explode them in slow motion.
Yes, in fact, practical effects are mixed in with early examples of how blue and green screens were used to separate out colours for background compositing. And now, of course, we have software to key it all out for us. But back then it was done manually.
Green screens are now used in television constantly, from weather reports to big budget entertainment shows and movies. Sam from our research team has made a short film to tell us more.
Green screen has made a great impact within the TV and film industry. The most common use for a green screen is for the weather on the news. When you see a weather forecast, the presenter is probably standing in front of a green screen, like this one, and using remote controls to change the images, just like this. In addition, green screen can also be used to create a virtual set, like this one. It may look like a standard TV studio, but in reality, it is just an illusion. The BBC uses this technology to create the sets for the Winter Olympics.
So firstly, how does green screen work exactly? Well, to make this possible, I'm using Premiere Pro to create this walking scene. To start with, I place the green screen footage of me walking and add an Alt key to key out the green from the green screen. Once that is done, I then add a random image to act as a background. For this example, I'm going to use this picture of a forest. The picture of the forest then gets added over the green screen, so now the green screen creates that illusion of me walking through a forest.
So that's how a basic green screen works. Here's how it's being used in the movies.
There are two different ways a green screen can be used in movies. The first way that green screen is used is to create the scene if the set is too expensive to build. The other way that it's used is to extend the set. This often happens to fill in the rest of the background. Blue screen was also used in older films as it used older filming equipment. The sensors in digital cameras today are more sensitive to green, which is why it's more used.
Why don't you have a go at some green screen footage and send them to us at CGI Friday?
So, green screens are used in so many different types of media now. Even our show has used a green screen in previous episodes for our virtual set.
Yes, now here we had the communication breakthrough from our deep sea VFX research base. Let's cut to our presenter James, who is stationed down there right now.
Hey guys, it's been a long couple of months down here in the CGI Nautical Research Base, but I am not completely alone. Fortunately, there are plenty of fish to chat to, and every so often I get a weird blip come up on my radar. It's nothing, but it sure is exciting when it happens.
Hi James, glad you're coping well down there. I'm sure you've gathered a lot of data on sea creature behaviour for our animation rigging team by now.
Oh yes, I'll send it your way as soon as I fix the leaks in our ceiling.
Sounds like you should get onto that.
Yeah, but hang on a second. My radar is detecting something nearby. It's unusual. I've never seen anything like it before. I don't know what it could be. I hope it's not dangerous. I think there's something big out there.
Well, it looks like you're going to need to fix that window, James. Now we're going to look at some interesting footage of concept arts.
That sounds lovely. I hope James is okay down there. Here's Hannah with more info on how concept art contributes to the VFX production pipeline.
Throughout the development of a VFX product, concept art will be created in different stages to provide a visual reference for the VFX artist, from simple environmental sketches to fully developed 3D models. Most of the time, the initial conceptualized piece will look entirely different to the final product, especially with characters. Concept art will also go through a variety of stages and constantly change. To show this, the process of an environmental piece was captured.
I'm here in the middle of nowhere. There is no there, it is cold there, but I am safe and I am warm. Although it's hard, I know I gotta keep up. No time to lay, to drift away. I find my space, I spend my time down the rabbit hole again, and as I fall I can feel the pain. You can't tell me where to go, so I don't know, I just go with the flow. I go with the flow. falling up, I'm falling down. From the sky and from the ground. Up above just like below. And I don't know where I should go. 'Cause I'm stuck in limbo.
Thanks, Hannah. We're great to see these artworks come to life. Concept art is a huge part of visualization games, films, and TV shows. Imagine continuing to be used for years to come, even as VFX technology improves.
That's all we've got time for on today's episode of CGI Friday. Coming up in the next episode, we'll be looking at practical effects, mobile game development, and finding out if James has survived another week in our underwater base.
Thanks, Jay. We'll see you then. That's all from us at CGI Friday. Goodbye.
Thank you.